So I couldn't even make it through an entire day, and I've already got another bone to pick with everybody. This time, I'm talking about every single person that drives a vehicle on the roads. Because you guys all drive like crazy lunatics when you're around a truck. Bring this up because I got pulled into a DOT check stop today. Everything was fine, no tickets, no nothing. They did a full inspection on my truck. Had an air leak yesterday, got it fixed right away. Mechanic's good about stuff like that. So everything was in order for me. But as soon as I leave there and I get back out on the road, all of a sudden everybody's driving like a moron around the trucks again. I get it, we're slow. Sometimes we can be a nuisance. But the one thing that nobody ever seems to think about is the fact that every single thing you have ever touched in your entire life was brought to you on a truck. I'm not saying this to be boastful or that our jobs are important or that we're not a nuisance. It's not that at all. I'm saying this because aside from the danger that you're posing to yourself and other people around you by doing stupid things like cutting trucks off and the numerous other things I won't even get into around trucks, in the end, people don't seem to understand the fact that they're costing themselves more money. Every time you guys cut us off and force us to slam on the brakes, there's numerous things that can fail. And it's not that the driver didn't do a proper pre-trip. It's not that the driver wasn't driving properly. But for example, the truck that I drive is called a truck and pup. Now, it's a dump truck and a trailer. So it's a tandem truck, which means 2 axles on the back, and a pup means 3 axles on the trailer. It's hooked up with a pintle hitch, hooked up to a reach, so that it keeps it away because we actually have to jackknife the things on a full 90 in order to dump the truck. The truck gross vehicle weight is 45,300 kilograms. It's roughly 100,000 pounds. We're driving down the road with both the size and weight of an entire house, and you guys drive around us like we can just stop on a dime. Yes, the air brake system on trucks are very good, and they're meant to be heavy duty, and all the weight restrictions are roughly 80% of actual maximum capacity, and that's to try to lighten the load and make sure that we can stop and we can worry about things like that. But just 2 examples that happen on a regular basis for me every single day without fail. Deerfoot here, and this seems to be a Calgary thing. It's because Calgary is very poorly designed, mostly because it's grown so quick that they couldn't keep up with it. But there's certain areas where everybody on the highway can be doing 100 kilometers an hour, but you've got on ramps where there's 2 or even sometimes 3 lanes merging into one, hit the on ramp, and then all of a sudden that on ramp becomes the off ramp for the next exit. So you've got everybody bottlenecked, bumper to bumper, trying to get onto the highway. You're doing 40 kilometers an hour, so everybody that's on the off lane has to slow down to 40 kilometers an hour, and then it slows down the next lane, and then it slows down the next lane. So people here, for some reason, don't want to wait their turn in the lane they need to be in to get off on the next exit. So they'll wait until the absolute last second, cut in front of the truck, force the truck to slam on his brakes with 100,000 pounds behind him, and then they'll just scoot over and take the off ramp. Now, it's not just in that circumstance people do it, but people do it all the time to trucks. They just don't care. It's whatever I can do to get around that truck. Thing is, you can cause a lot of problems with that. And again, this is not just the safety aspect, it's the monetary value behind it. Because when you're doing that, right off the top of my head, there's 3 major things that can happen. For one, you can cause brake failure. You can cause the brakes on a truck to absolutely fail so that they cannot stop. When you force trucks to do that, you can blow airlines. You can simply have wear and tear from people doing it way too much. And all of a sudden, just before it got into inspection to go and get checked out on the brakes, your brakes fail. Not only could somebody die, but it costs money. Aside from that, we have airbags on the bottom over top of the leaf springs to cushion the ride. Now, this isn't to cushion the ride for the driver inside per se, it's more to cushion the load itself. If you're driving in a tractor trailer, well, you need to cushion the load so that the TVs going to Walmart or Superstore or wherever aren't bouncing up and down and breaking, so that the food isn't going all over the place and falling down and ended up going to waste. There's 1,000 different reasons why they have them, but those airbags are roughly about yay wide, almost a foot wide, and about 14 inches tall. Now, those things are meant to go up and down. They're meant to cushion the ride. They're not meant to jolt forwards. So when they jolt forwards too much, they're made out of rubber, and they're going to fail eventually anyway. Usually you can catch that beforehand, but when they keep going back and forth like that instead of up and down, they wear out a lot quicker. Now, when one of those blows, it's a major issue. I've had it happen before, and it feels like you've blown a tire and you can't control anything all of a sudden. Obviously, you can slow down and limp it back to the shop or whatever you need to do, pull it over for a mechanic to fix it on the side of the road. That doesn't matter. But again, that costs money. Now, if that happens, then there's leaf springs underneath, also to cushion the ride. Now, they've got U-bolts on the top to hold them into place. Well, it's just a bolt with a nut on the bottom. Well, two nuts on it, one on either side. But keep going back and forth the way it's not designed to go, and all of a sudden, what? They can snap. Now, that one can actually be very dangerous, but again, they're expensive. They cost a lot of money. You guys keep cutting us off and doing stupid crap around us and keep forcing it to happen like that. Well, guess what happens? Every time you go to Walmart or Superstore, or any grocery store, wherever you want to go, Costco, doesn't matter. Everything you buy there gets more expensive because the trucking company isn't going to absorb that cost. They're going to have to raise their rates. So what do? They charge those stores more. Then the stores have to charge more for the merchandise that they're selling to you. Now, it doesn't matter if it's roads that we're building. Well, guess what? The city's going to charge it too. What happens then? Your taxes go up. It's always going to cost you more money by driving like a moron around a truck. So to end this off, if there's two major things that drive me nuts on a daily basis that I could ask you not to do, it would be one, if you're on a highway, don't cut off the truck. I get it. I've got a crack in my windshield. I'm scared to replace it because I know it's just going to happen again. But back off a little bit and don't get that close and the rock won't hit you in the windshield. Simple thing. Just don't cut trucks off. And when I say cut trucks off, you have to understand most people don't know this, even though they should. A regular sedan like mine weighs between 2,300 and 2,600 pounds. So that's over a metric ton. And it takes, at 100 kilometers an hour, it takes 110 meters to come to a complete stop. So if you're doing that in Imperial, that's 62 miles per hour. It takes you about 360 feet to come to a complete stop. Well, the truck that I'm driving takes twice as long to stop. So 220 meters or 660 feet. That's a large distance. And forcing us to do it even quicker is not good for the vehicle. Now, the other thing is, for some reason, I don't know why people do this, because this one should just be common sense, but people do it 10, 20 times to me, myself, every single day. You're coming to a red light, you've got just enough time to stop, you've seen the red light coming, and then all of a sudden, when you don't have any more room to come to a more abrupt stop, all of a sudden, one or two cars come right in front of you, right in front of the red light. So you're forced to slam on your brakes right in front of that red light with a full load behind you. Whole house right behind you. For the truck drivers, it can be pretty dangerous too. I used to haul pipe. Now that stuff, I always put on a lot more straps than I needed. It almost happened to me one time. They shifted, but it those things can go right through the front of the truck and kill the driver. There's a lot of danger behind this too. So please, I don't need your respect. I don't care if you want to flip me off. I don't care if you want to curse out your window at me. You're not going to change my day at all. I'm just asking that you don't drive like idiots around trucks. Please.